Alrighty guys, so Solo Leveling Arise, it's been out for a couple of days now, obviously with early access, and I've been kind of putting off doing the review purely because I've just been playing the game, and I'm just like, you know what, I'll record it in an hour, and then an hour later I'm just like, I still need to grind gears, and then I've just been putting it off basically. But yeah, here we are, let's get it done, and let me give you guys my honest opinion about Solo Leveling Arise. So, as you guys can see, I have been playing the absolute heck out of it. And a few others I would say are, you know, I feel like if you've been grinding the heck out of this game, then you should be near the end game stage of things. Although I would say end game plus is level 70. Clearly, that's going to be the end mark for Solo Leveling Arise. But yeah, I have been playing this game non-stop, and I truly do mean that. Even when I'm out and I don't have my PC with me, I do have my account on my phone, so if I'm not at my PC, I'm definitely using my phone to play the game. But yeah, I've been having fun with the main MC, with the hunters. Overall, it's just been a great experience. So that alone should tell you where I'm going with this. With Solo Leveling Arise, the reason why I'm having such a fun time playing this game, it truly is because of the gameplay. The gameplay, in my opinion, is fantastic. In terms of being Jinwoo himself, the aura that he gives off of just being an absolute badass character, as well as the multiple combinations and weaponry. Obviously, with the different weaponry you choose, his combat style switches up. So it's that difference of always happening something new, something refreshing, and obviously as the time goes on, we're going to get new weaponry. So there's always going to be something refreshing coming in that we can use for Jinwoo and kind of create different type of combinations. You can also go in about creating different types of builds of him. So that customization for the character that affects the gameplay, that to me is unique, and obviously, as I've said before, very refreshing to see. And so there are two resemblances of this game that I get, and this is why it's a big seller for myself and why I'm really addicted to this game. Number one, Dark Souls. Obviously with the Dark Souls boss fights and whatnot, you really have to, obviously, well, depending on who the boss is, you're gonna have to get into the rhythm, understanding their movement, and that's the similarities to what Solo Leveling Arise has done with their bosses, of course. Once you get to know certain characters' moves, because obviously they consistently do it, unless there's like a part 2 phase and whatnot, then you're gonna have to understand that furthermore. But once you understand the rhythm, their move sets, and what they're gonna do next, you can kind of time your dodges and whatnot to the perfect T, and then of course go about doing your damage and whatnot. So that's one big thing. And again, if you're a fan of that type of stuff for Dark Souls when it comes to those type of boss fights, you're gonna love Solo Leveling. Now, the icing on the cake for me was that Jinwoo comes across as like a DMC type of playstyle, Devil May Cry. It's like I'm Dante. I'm using different type of weaponries, my movement is completely different, I'm switching things up, I've got two weapons I can cycle out of. It really is like I'm Dante in Dark Souls. Dante going against a Dark Souls boss. That's what it is. And so they've kind of put those two games together and they've delivered us this. Gameplay wise, mechanic wise, it's honestly, I would say for me, 9.5, 10 out of 10. And again, I am a huge Devil May Cry fan. So to give me that type of aura for Jinwoo himself, in terms of giving me that Dante vibe or the Virgil vibe, I'm sold. I'm absolutely sold. I've been a fan of Devil May Cry for the longest. I absolutely adore the game. I love the combinations, you know, the button mashing up, all that good stuff. Big fan of it. And so to have Solo Leveling, to have that feel for it, alongside with the boss fights, yeah, the gameplay side of this for Solo Leveling, it's on par to none. It's really good. With Solo Leveling, I'm invested. I'm playing. Whether it's if I'm gear grinding, accessory grinding, whether I'm doing gates. I mean, for the most part, the low rarity gates I do sweep, but when it gets to like the gold gates and the red gates, I'm jumping on in because those are very difficult fights. And one, I might not have the points to sweep it. If I don't have any points to sweep, I'm diving in and I'm fighting, right? It's keeping me engaged. I've got that playtime going in. Especially with like the accessory, the gear fight, I have to play. So the engagement for the game, like the Battlefield of Trials, I'm grinding. Battlefield of Time, I'm grinding. Power of Destruction, I can't remember. I think the only time I actually autoed, actually I wouldn't even class it auto. The only time I think I autoed was when I was doing the Hunters archive. And to be honest with this, it's more for the line of just gaining the rewards. Outside of everything else, there's something for me to do. I'm sitting down and I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing the game. I'm having fun. I'm creating multiple builds, and I'm putting time into the game because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So it's keeping me busy. It really is, and I think that's something huge, to have that player engagement for the game itself. So when it comes to playing this game, if you think it's going to be a casual gacha game where you can just be like, I'm just going to go here, auto, skip, da da da. No. You are diving in and you are fighting for your life to get your required, and the sense of accomplishment. That's another thing. The sense of accomplishment when you're beating, because I guarantee you, when it comes to the Igris fight, I'm sure, because I've seen a lot of you who are playing the early access struggling with this fight. Tell me when you beat it, you just didn't jump for joy or just let out a big scream being like, yes! Some of these bosses, because I myself was stuck on the Igris fight, I was stuck. There are other bosses that you will come across where you are going to be stuck, but once you beat that boss, it's that sense of accomplishment, which no other game that I've played, right, for like, gacha-wise, I'd say, has given me. And that type of satisfaction, you know, it's hard to come by when it comes to these sorts of games. So to have that, I think that is huge. So that's fantastic. Obviously, with the story itself, I mean, there's two ways to look at it, because I know some people don't want to be spoiled with solo leveling. The solo leveling, because of course I've been keeping up with, so as much as I don't want to be spoiled, I'm playing the game, so of course I'm gonna, you know, go through the story through the game itself. So from when I'm recording this, today is going to be the last episode for season 1, of course, and if you have been playing the story, you kind of know what's going to be happening next. But just using the game itself, because like the cutscenes and whatnot, they are fantastically done. When it comes to the storytelling that this game provides, it's really well done, so I have to give it to them marble there. But I'm going through the story, I am invested. There's a part in, I think it is chapter 11, where you will truly feel the aura of how, like, the badass Jinwoo is. I'm not going to say it, but if you don't mind, like, learning about the story and just, you know, want to know about what's going to be happening next, you know what I mean. That there's a part in chapter 11 where I'm just like, oh my god, everyone move out of the way, let Jinwoo do his thing. My man is is talking the talk and walking the goddamn water. You'll see if you once you get there, boys. But yeah, the storytelling in this game is really well done. I am fully invested. Now, even though I know what's going to happen, I'm still looking forward to, because I mean there are key moments within obviously with these chapters which are going to fall in line with season 2, that I'm now looking forward to season 2. So yeah, there's content for you to grind out to where you're not going to auto, you are going to be playing, and the storytelling is just fantastically done. Yeah, as I mentioned, when it comes to, you know, Jinwoo himself, you know, you've got multiple weaponries to kind of choose from, and you know, I did a whole tier list. Like, some of these SR weapons are really good, and each weapon is kind of bringing something new onto the table with what they can do in terms of shielding, offensiveness, defensiveness. So you've got that different type of playstyle going on, even with, of course, the hunters themselves. I mean, they've got their set weaponry, like I said, but with each character, again, you've got a new set of combo to look forward to, you know, specifically for each hunter. So again, that's well, keeping things refreshed, I'd say, you know. But furthermore, of course, artifacts, this is one thing which I'm extremely happy about. It's not that in depth. It's the thing about with me and these type of games, whenever they bring whenever they bring in gears, I'm just like, please just keep it simplistic. I don't need none of this crazy stuff going on. Like, just keep it simple, short and sweet. Let us just enjoy it. And that's exactly what they have done. It's a very simple artifact system. I'm hoping for the future they don't touch it, just leave it as is. I mean, okay, if you want to do a little bit of limit breaking, then you know, we'll have to wait and see on how that's going to work if they choose to go about that route. Because I mean, getting gears to level 20 is already hard enough, but you know, but the gear system, it's simple, it's easy. For the love of God, leave it as it is. Obviously, with the game itself, you know, there's a bunch of things to do in terms of accomplishments with challenges, achievements, even with like these special commissions. So it's like, hey, if you beat this boss a few amount of times, we'll reward you with currency, with tickets. So again, this is a nice little addition in terms of the game, just, you know, giving you playtime, making you play the game. Fighting different bosses multiple times, of course. So you've got things lined up in terms of what the game gives you in terms of resources and summons. Obviously with the challenges, this is huge. I will say, I mean, again, I've done a video on talking about how much essence you can get, which is the currency, how many tickets you get. The game is giving you 800 plus tickets. It's giving you 80,000 plus essence. So like in terms of resources and premium currency as well as summoning tickets, there is a heck of a lot being given out. So that's really, really good in terms of these types of games. Of course, that's one thing what you want, to be fair. I mean, of course there's always going to be that pay to win side of things, but just in general, just to get people playing and putting in playtime, because that's what you want as a game. Yeah, there's a ton of things to do in terms of accomplishments, as well as getting resources for that, as well as rewards. Army of Shadows. So for a solo leveling a game, this is a huge plus in terms of bringing in like another part of solo leveling into the gameplay mechanics side of things. And so to have them fight beside us and actually have options on actually taking multiple into a fight itself, I think that just kind of adds more onto the gameplay itself, and that these do actually play a huge role in terms of, just to give you guys an example, there's a boss that launches a whirlwind, and basically that whirlwind does a ton of damage and it will follow you. If you activate your Army of the Shadows, that whirlwind, because there's so many enemies on the field, you being the enemy along with the Army of the Shadow, the whirlwind will then focus on Igris or whoever, right, whoever you pick when it comes to your Army of the Shadow, which then leaves you alone, so that way you can target the boss. So there is actually a big role in terms of the Army of the Shadow creating that, so they're the main focus, giving you that kind of breathing room. So, and plus them just kind of being there and supporting you and doing whatever in terms of damage boosting, because of course you can get stat boosts from a specific leader. It just helps out with more addition to the gameplay side of things. Now of course there are issues to address with this game. So as of right now, the biggest problem I would say is gold. Purely due to the fact that whatever you want to do, whether it's switching out gears, whether it's even resetting my stats, like if I reset, you know, everything requires gold. Gold right now is more precious than essence, weirdly enough, but that's how this game is based. That's how the game is done. And the required amount for gold whenever it comes to, like, just in general, let's say leveling up a character. So for example, let's say I want to level up this character, 200k. It's very expensive, and as of right now there's no good way to go about grinding a decent amount of gold. I would say when it came to me getting gold, the challenges gave me a crap ton, like a lot. I mean, there are other ways of doing it by completing missions and whatnot through story, that's just a given, but you're going to get to the point where you're at a standstill. But the challenges really did help me out to actually get a ton of gold, so that was very nice. But right now we're kind of limited on where we can actually go about getting consistent amount of gold, so that way we can actually, you know, progress our account on a daily basis. And so with that, this is something that needs to be looked into, and you know, I think that is the most biggest crucial negativity right now for solo leveling. Is that gold, they need to either up, maybe add in a game mode where we can farm it or something. We need something to give us more gold, or make it so that the usage of gold is at a very low amount, because this is ridiculous. Like, come on, what is this? If you're not going to give us gold, and if you're going to keep it as is, then you need to drop the cost of gold a considerable amount, because that is just ridiculous. With like just leveling up, it's costing 200, like, no. Like that's way too much. So those are the two options that they've got, but we'll have to wait and see on what they choose to do. Another thing which I'll mention, which again I do hope that it changes, I mean it's not that big of a deal, but obviously with going into the gear fights, accessory fights, and even gates, of course, these keys reset on reset. What? So basically when the reset happens, you get 13 keys back, you get 4 keys back, and you get 3 keys back. I feel like what they should do, so that, you know, there's that engagement going on for the game itself, is maybe put like a timer on it, so like every 1 key refreshes every, I don't know, hour, 2 hour, something like that. I think that would be pretty helpful to have when it comes to playtime and engagement for the game itself. I know some people are kind of struggling with XP, of course, so providing XP in other means. For example, you don't get any XP when you're doing the gear runs. Maybe they should look into that. You don't get any XP when you're doing the instant dungeons. You should maybe look into that. I feel like what they should do, because how XP is, they need to put XP in everything. Being in hunters, gear raids, accessory raids, even with the game modes right here. After completion, give us XP. They need to make XP farming on everything rather than specifics. But yeah, I feel like the selection banner is absolutely fine because you get a ton of tickets, and then the rate up banner, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's one of the worst, but I would have preferred, I think at the very least, just to make it that you know, rather than doing the 50-50 first time, the first time is a guarantee, the second time is a guarantee. You know, whenever you hit 80, you're guaranteed. I just kind of prefer that. But the ranking system, yeah. So obviously with the rankings, when the servers for global does go live, there are going to be like, so everyone's going to be on the mainframe, of course, but there are going to be sub-servers. So to those that start solo leveling when it officially releases globally, you guys are going to be on your own server, so you won't have to deal with us who have already progressed. You won't have to kind of fight for the #1 spot. You're going to be fighting with everyone starting fresh. So that's a huge plus. And not only that, we can still interact with one another. Overall, what I'm trying to get at is I would genuinely give solo leveling right now like an 8.5, 9 out of 10. In all honesty. Yeah, between 8.5 and 9. I think that's kind of best fit in where solo leveling is at right now. So I'm really enjoying this game. You know, there's more to come. I can't wait for the future. We've got a full-on roadmap. They've already acknowledged like a 100-day celebration. They've already acknowledged the half anniversary, and you know, I'm just nothing but excited. If for whatever reason they choose to go about adding in online play, any type of multiplayer, then I think this game will thrive even more. But yeah, that's my honest review of this game so far. I'm enjoying it. Just a few things that they need to fix up on, and I feel like we've got something big on our hands in terms of yeah, this game going far. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you are playing Solo Leveling Arise, what is your genuine thoughts? Positives, negatives, what are you guys saying? I feel like I know what the lot of negatives are going to be, so I get it, but by all means let me know. I feel like I did miss out one negative. I don't know what it is. Oh, someone's going to write it and I'm going to read it. I'm just going to be like, yep, that's it. God damn it. Alright, I'm out, boys. Take care.